Hello everyone, and welcome back to More Figures Than Meets the Eye. Now today, I'm gonna live up to that in title, and for the first time here, review a Transformer figure. Now, be ready for many Transformers reviews in the lifespan of this channel. Now, you can expect other stuff as well, but I mainly want to focus on Transformers. Now, my first videos won't really be much of Transformers, but I just want to get the figures I already have in the collection out of the way and mainly collect Transformers because there's just a certain amount of Sonic characters I'm going to get, or a certain amount of Marvel Legends characters I want to get, but with Transformers it's almost limitless. So today I want to start with the Transformers Studio Series, Rise of the Beasts, Core Class Arcee. Now, this is a very cheap figure. It isn't meant to be on scale with your other mainline / studio series Transformers. But first off, let's take a look at the packaging. And here's Arcee's packaging. Now, this is the basic box you can expect core class figures to come in. You can see there a CGI render of Arcee looking very great. I think this is the best live action design for Arcee. You see Takara Tomy, Transformers, Studio Series, Rise of the Beasts. Her name, that she's an Autobot. An image there of her, it's core class. Here we can also see how it takes 11 steps to transform her from robot mode to bike mode. Here's another CGI render of her showing that she's an authentic Transformer. And there you can see the background she came attached in. Being, I believe this is a street in Peru, I'm not entirely sure. But it looks really well done. Now, again, this is the main kind of box you can expect core class figures to come in. Now, of course, if you're getting, say, based on what was it, Legacy Evolution, I believe it's the Transformer line currently on here. Now, expect a different style of the artwork, but this is the kind of box you can expect. But now, let's take a look at Arcee herself. Oh, but something else I was forgetting before getting to Arcee is that all Transformers come with a, I guess, manual? I guess that's what we can call it, with a render, and it's mainly the steps to transform her. Now, I would mainly recommend to, instead of just looking at this first, I'd recommend watching a YouTube video of someone transforming her, because I tried and I don't really understand many of the steps on these. So I'd recommend, if you don't want to get complicated, just watch someone else transform the figure first and then try it out. That worked for me here with Arcee and a ton of other Transformers I have. So again, I recommend first off watching someone else transform the figure first, and maybe later on, if you can hang a bit, check out the manual. But let's finally take a look at Arcee. Now, here we have Core Class Arcee. Now, first thing I need to mention is that this figure is meant to be on scale with the other Studio Series Transformers. And it's that, okay, here's a bit of conflict with the figure. Now, some people think that the figure is a bit too small. Because in the movie, at first, it did seem like Arcee was human-sized. So, understandably, a lot smaller than any of the Autobots. But in the movie, it turns out she's actually taller than a human. Like, she is the smallest Autobot, and the second smallest Transformer just under the Terracon Freezer. But she is slightly larger than this. Now, you're going to see that in the size comparison with other Transformers. But yeah, she is pretty small in comparison to all the others, but they either show me a taller core class or a small deluxe. And I'm pretty sure some people thought it was highway robbery to make a very small deluxe scratching the core class at $25. So I do think that $12, this is a pretty fantastic figure. Now, since she is a studio series, she's meant to be very accurate to the movie. I think for the most part, she does look really good. Now, an issue here that the core class size comes with, and it's that you definitely see the bike dangling on her back. You definitely see the front of the bike and this back wheel, which is actually a separate piece when you open the figure. And you can also see that the wheels are attached behind her legs, which at first I thought was accurate, since when we first see Arcee in the teaser trailer for Rise of the Beasts, we see how she's using her wheels as sort of like rollerblades. I thought that was super cool, and I guess that's the figure got those, and you can kind of pull off a pose like that. But the thing is that only happens at one scene, because we've seen that the Transformers can parts form. There you can see how it kind of works. Because, like we saw in the moment where Mirage literally went from being back driving to go to the front, like, without even turning, just transforming. So, yeah, Transformers can definitely find a way to move their vehicle pieces to wherever they need them. But in a way, it does make Arcee slightly inaccurate. But overall, I think that it's fine engineering. And in the paint department, she looks pretty well done. For a small figure, she has a good amount of paint. I think she's been very well designed. But now let's take a look at her articulation. Now, since she's a core class, she of course won't have as many articulation as Transformers, but she still has a pretty great range. Now, first off, you can tilt the head side to side, up and down. That's pretty great. You can see on the arms, I believe it's called ball joints, so I recommend be careful because you can easily pop these off. Actually, once I got her out of the packaging, her arm popped off, this one, so I recommend to be very careful. You can definitely see how it works. She has a waist joint, which is very well done. Her legs can kick up to that far and back to far. The bike, the behind the for bike does get in the way. The knee joint, which due to transformation, it moves like this. So you get this kind of pose, but again, you can definitely see her legs are a bit more limited because of the massive wheels behind her. But you can still get her into some pretty dynamic poses. Now, she only comes with one accessory, being this gun, this blaster. Now, we see in the movie that these Transformers can actually create weapons out of themselves. Like, we do see that all the Autobots create arm cannons, and this is meant to be an arm cannon for Arcee, and it does fit very well into her hand. But yeah, it doesn't have any paint, and I wish it came with two, and if it was slightly larger. But overall, I think it's a fine accessory. Now let's do some size comparisons. Okay, so starting off with the size comparisons, here she is next to the Studio Series Bumblebee, and the whole point is that this Arcee is meant to be on scale with Bumblebee, and it kind of works. Maybe Arcee should be slightly taller, but again, I already thought that Bumblebee was a slightly short deluxe class figure, so I thought that, well, if they really tried to make a size accurate Arcee, she really would have been in a weird spot where she would have to be like a really tall core class, but at the same time very short deluxe. And some people probably feel like, oh, that's too expensive for $25. I'm not buying it. But again, here she is next to Bumblebee, which also expect her review. And here is Arcee with the mainline Voyager class Optimus Prime. Now, the scale works well. We definitely see Optimus Prime next to Arcee in many moments. But the whole thing is that this figure, the Optimus Prime, is considered short for a Optimus Prime figure. And I still don't have the Studio Series one. Also expect our review for this mainline Optimus Prime. But I think the scale works well. And here's a fun comparison. Here she is next to the Studio Series 86 G1 Arcee. Now, it's kind of funny just seeing how this is meant to be the same character, but you can see apart from maybe the shape of her head, she's completely different. Now, it's mainly due to her size, her color. The only characteristic is that both of them have white paintwork, but apart from that, they're literally worlds apart from each other. And I think that, yeah, she's definitely larger, the G1 version of Arcee, but it's understandable. This G1 86 Arcee is a car when she transforms, and core class Arcee is a motorcycle, so of course she's going to be smaller. But it's kind of funny just seeing how different she is in scale. But let's take a look at some other figures. Here is Arcee next to the 2020 War for Cybertron Kingdom Deluxe Class Air Racer, my only Maximal in my collection. And, well, I think we can't really say anything about the scale here, since Rise of the Beast Arcee never really there's not really a way we can compare her to the Beast Wars inspired Air Razor over here, but I think the scale is, I guess it would be fine. I'm not entirely sure. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see a review on this Air Razor. Maybe I will. And just for fun, let's compare her with a couple of other characters from other franchises. Now, again, I get that Transformers are not meant to be on scale with any of these other characters, but I just wanted to show them off, just in case you'd like to know the sense of scale between other kind of figures. Now, here she is next to the Jack Specific 4-inch Sonic, so you can definitely see the core class figures are around 3 inches. Here she is next to the Moose Toys Space Jam New Legacy Bugs Bunny. The Marvel Legends Okoye, which, yeah, you can definitely notice here that scale's super way off. Again, Arcee is meant to be taller than human, slightly taller, so I'd say she should be around 7 inches tall, but then again, it would have to mean that Optimus Prime had to be like 11, 12 inches tall maybe in order to be able to scale with these human-sized characters. And finally, here she is next to the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 Marvel Legends Star-Lord. Again, super way out of scale, but again, it was never meant to be on scale. Like, okay, both are Hasbro products, but you know, the Marvel Legends are in an entirely different scale to Transformers, so it makes sense that it doesn't work here. Now, here comes a Transformers exclusive scene, being the transformation. Now, in this case, I'm not gonna pretend I'm a Prime versus Prime level of Transformers collector that knows every single stuff about tabs, notches, slots, pegs, joints, etc. So, I'm just gonna start talking, and I'm just gonna show the transformation. So, it's gonna be a bit tricky here, but I'm gonna try my best, just to show you how she transforms. So, I'm not going to give too much explanation. It's a really straightforward transformation. Really hope the camera gets it. Okay, one thing I will have to explain is that you can definitely see how the tires need to click like that. You can definitely see. I really hope the camera shows this. Sorry, this is a bit of a sloppy way to do it, but I don't have any other way to do it, so really hope if at least one single person likes how I do this, or if at least one single person finds this video useful, I'll be content with that. There it is. Had to do that off camera, so I recommend to be very patient once you're doing this, because sure, she's a small figure, but the transformation typically requires things to be perfectly aligned. Yeah, sorry. I'm doing the best I can. This is my first ever in-camera transformation. And there is our core class, Arcee, in her bike mode. Now, something I find cool is that you can actually use her weapon here as a kickstand for the bike. So she can have... So, I really like, again, this on how you can use the kickstand as... Okay, the gun is a kickstand. Okay, I'm sorry for that. I think it looks really well done. And now we can talk about Arcee in her bike mode. Okay, and to make the size comparisons in bike mode a lot quicker, here she is next to, again, the mainline Optimus Prime, 86 Arcee, and Deluxe Class Bumblebee. And overall, the scale works well enough for a bike. I think she looks great, especially here next to Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. I really want to recreate that picture of the cars they used filming the movie. I just need the Studio Series Optimus Prime, Wheeljack, and Mirage. Hopefully I'll get those and review those someday, but again, expect reviews for Bumblebee and Optimus Prime. And again, in order to make the size comparisons a lot quicker, here she is next to, again, Star-Lord, Okoye, Sonic, and Bugs Bunny. Yeah, the scale is super way off. She should be around the size of Star-Lord, I guess, if you want to make her a Marvel Legends scale motorcycle. I believe Marvel Legends once did it was a scooter, not a bike. I believe it came with the unbeatable Squirrel Girl, which is a pretty cool figure. I'm not gonna lie, I would actually like to have that one, but in this case, yeah, the scale does not work. And overall, Arcee's bike mode is pretty well done. Like, yeah, it's not perfect. You can definitely see there, you can definitely see her head, and you can also see her arms just becoming the back of the bike. Yeah, it's not perfect, but for the price, she looks pretty well done. Oh, and okay. You definitely saw me struggle to transform her, and now I have to do reverse transformation. So I'm gonna show you how to go from bike mode to robot mode. Now, again, take off the kickstand, which will become her gun. Again, I'm gonna just show you how to do it. Yeah, sometimes the wheels will be very well attached, so I'd recommend to be very careful and very patient. It took me a lot of tries, and even now that I had this figure for a couple of months, I still struggle to do it correctly. But there she is. Again, I should recommend to be very careful with the paint, since you can definitely see there how the paint has been scratching. Yeah, that's an issue on my copy, but there is Arcee. And overall, this is a pretty recommendable Arcee figure, depending on what you want. Now, if you want an accurate-ish sized Arcee with your other studio series, well, there's not really much of a better option. If you don't care of Arcee being larger than say Bumblebee, I recommend the Weaponizer or Arcee and Cheetor 2-pack. And I'm definitely planning getting that figure because I want to compare her to this one and just see which one is better. That one's better in terms of the detail, but not too much on the paint. Now, you can definitely see you should be very careful. The paint on my version has been slightly chipping off, so it's just to be very careful. Overall, I think that Arcee over here is a good core class figure. Again, for the price, she's pretty fantastic. She's not perfect, but well, it's really the only collector-oriented option. So that's it for this video, and that's it here for Arcee. Let me know in the comments what do you think about this Arcee figure, and are you interested on other Transformers reviews? Well, that's it. Thanks for watching.